I really appreciate it. And I appreciate the opportunity to be here with this audience and to share. I always love talking about USANA. I'm very proud of USANA. It's a wonderful company. There's a lot of things to love about USANA, and I want to share with you some of the things that I think are the most important that make USANA stand out from the rest of the competition around the world. We have a very strong leadership position. We've been growing consistently for the past 15 years. We've got a very strong company, but what makes us different is the science behind our products. And so let me share that with you. There we go. Okay. So can you see that presentation okay? Okay, fantastic, good. Okay, so this is our headquarters in Salt Lake City, Utah. We have a wonderful facility there. We have hundreds of people working, doing our own manufacturing, doing our own testing. We do a lot of science here too. We have a very similar facility to this that we just set up a few years ago in Beijing, China. So we operate also an almost identical facility in China. But the products that are produced in China are exclusively consumed in China. So the stuff that we make for the rest of the world is made here in the Salt Lake City headquarters. So almost everything that's sold throughout the world, throughout Europe, United States, Australia, New Zealand, the entire rest of the world is made here at our facility in Salt Lake City. So this is my inspiration right here. This is our founder of USANA Health Sciences, Dr. Myron Wentz. Dr. Wentz is a biochemist by training, an immunologist. I actually studied a lot of his work in immunology when I was in graduate school. Immunology was one of the minors that I was doing with my science degree. And so I read a lot of Dr. Wentz's paper. I knew him as an immunologist. I didn't know him as a nutritionist. But what he did was he took his scientific knowledge that he developed over years of working in immunology, particularly in doing things called human cell culture, where he was one of the best in the world at growing human cells in culture in the laboratory, which is a very difficult trick. There's not a lot of people that can do that. I've done it before. It's very, very hard. And the one thing you have to do to keep those cells alive is you have to feed them the proper nutrition. And he was an expert at making up formulas that would keep cells alive outside of the human body. And then later on in his life, he realized when he had some health challenges from working so hard, that why doesn't he apply this knowledge to human health and create nutritional products? And so he set out to produce the world's best nutritional products. And the reason they start out as the world's best is because he chose the same compounds that he used in the laboratory to feed these cells because they're bioavailable. They're absorbed in the body and used efficiently by the body. So he developed a line of supplements, which is the original USANA products. And this is one of our big differences, is the ingredients and the science that we use behind our products. So we create products that are built to pharmaceutical grade standards. A lot of supplements out there are not built to pharmaceutical grade standards. So when you read the label of a bottle of vitamins, nutrients, supplements, the labels may say that they contain a certain amount of vitamin A or vitamin C, but that's not a guarantee that your body's actually going to absorb those. So we chose, excuse me, we chose nutrients that we knew were readily absorbed by the body, and they're very expensive. So this is a trade-off with USANA products, is we have the best quality products. We realize they're not the cheapest products, you know, but then again, do you really want to put cheap products into your body to keep you healthy? And we think that there's a demand for people that want the highest, the best quality products. Another USANA difference is that our products are backed by science. So It's not required. A lot of the science that we do, doing human clinical studies, doing bioavailability studies, doing nutrient absorption studies, things like that are not required by the law in most countries to do that kind of research. But we do it because that's Dr. Wentz's mandate. When I came on board, he was very clear to me that he wanted me to carry that vision forward into the future, that even though it's expensive and not required to do this testing, USANA will always stand out because we're willing and able to do that kind of testing. This is just some of my scientific team that work here at USANA headquarters. This is not the full scientific team. It's hard to get everybody together for a photo because our manufacturing plant is running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And so I can only grab a certain amount of people at a time. But I guarantee you there's more than 80 scientists and technicians on my staff that are involved in all sorts of research, quality control, bioavailability testing. I've got medical doctors on staff. I've got nurses on staff. I've got biochemists, nutritionists, all sorts of scientists on staff. This is unlike any other company I've ever seen. I've worked in this industry now for 30 years in the nutritional industry. I know all the other companies that are out there. I know the people that are the chief scientific officers for those companies, and nobody has anywhere near the high caliber and just number of scientists that USANA has. I just want to assure everybody, I know that there's a raging pandemic going on right now. We're tired of hearing of it, but it's the truth. We always take precautions here from the very beginning, because we saw it going through our Beijing office back last year, late last year. We knew that it was going to be coming around, so we took precautions. We made sure that we were one of the leading companies to make sure we always took precautions. And then also we petitioned the federal government and the state government early on to make sure that we were declared an essential manufacturer. So we've never been shut down a day here because of the pandemic. So we operate, but we operate very safely. This was just this summer. This was a meeting that we had. Dr. Oz is a famous TV physician, but he's also a very good entrepreneur. And he comes in and visits us regularly. And this was at our R&D headquarters I think earlier this summer. I can't remember exactly when it was, but we've been here the whole time. And you know, we're not worried. We're going to get through this together. We're going to get through this just fine. But we know that now, even more than ever, people need the science that we have to offer. And so we're here every day to make sure that that gets done. So there are some companies out there, there's quite a few companies out there that say that they're science-based. And like I said, I know all of them, I know all their people, and most of it is just talk. They're not. So what makes us different is that our formulas are all based on published research. So a lot of those scientists that you saw in that photo, we monitor the scientific journals, all the major scientific journals, every single month when they come out. We're scanning the journals, looking for the newest, latest nutritional technologies that we can use to upgrade our products and introduce new products out to our customers from throughout the world. And then in addition to that, when we create new formulas, we put it through extensive testing, sometimes including human clinical studies, to prove that the products work the exact same way that the theory suggests that they should. Like I said, the trade-off with USANA is that our products are fairly expensive. And that's because we use the best materials. We source the entire world. We don't buy cheap ingredients to save money. We go out and we find the very best ingredients that are out there. We don't water down our formulas. We try and give every country the very best, the maximum dosage formulas that we possibly can. Our manufacturing here is all in-house. It's state-of-the-art. It's all up to pharmaceutical standards. And so by having all of these variables under our control, we can produce the highest quality products. And like I said, this is Dr. Wentz's mandate. You know, we could be all sorts of things. We could sell cheaper products if we want to. We could sell cheap vitamins like a lot of companies do. But Dr. Wentz would have a fit, and also that would violate who we are as USANA. Our distinction is that we don't cut corners. We're the highest quality. Bioavailability, like I said, this was something that Dr. Wentz was one of the first people to think about this and apply it to human nutrition, because he knew from his cell culture experiments that, one form of iron like ferrous sulfate and ferrous fumarate and all these different forms of iron that you could possibly put into your vitamin pill, they're not all equivalent. You have to have, like, for example, metals like iron and zinc and chromium. You need those chelated with certain compounds to make sure that your body can absorb them and utilize those compounds in the optimal way. So we're always out there looking at new ingredients, comparing ingredients. We bring them in the lab. I've got 3 research and development laboratories here at USANA, 3 fully staffed laboratories. And one of them is dedicated solely to finding new ingredients and testing them and testing new sources to make sure that we've always got the very best quality. I also have a medical doctor, Dr. Medella, who I've worked with now for over a decade. He came and joined me at USANA from the company we worked at previously. And he is in charge of our global clinical research. And the reason we do research is, well, there's a lot of reasons. Like I said, it's not even, most countries don't even require scientific research on nutritional supplements, but we do it. First of all, we want to make sure that the products are safe. We want to make sure that these new products, these new technologies, because they're very powerful technologies like the Copa Prime that we just developed. Copa Prime is it's a neurotropic, and it's for enhanced brain function. And it's so powerful. It just, within 1 dose, we found dramatic human clinical effects in mood, memory, cognition, all sorts of these standard metrics. And then, that brings up the question, is this stuff is so powerful, is it safe? And so we had to do safety studies on it to make sure that indeed it was safe. It was doing the things that we wanted it to do and not doing anything adverse to the body. So these are the kind of testing that we do on our products. Even after they're in the market, after they've been launched, we continue to do research on our flagship products because we're always interested in learning more about how these things work and then sharing that with our customers, because USANA customers are very passionate about health. They could choose a lot of different companies, but they choose us, and they choose us in a lot of cases because they agree with our philosophy that the best is worth having. And so we want to make sure that we never let them down. Okay, so we do like I said, we've got 3 research and development laboratories in-house, but we also partner with major universities. These are some of the partners that we've had over just the last few years. In Australia, the United States, California, Colorado, Boston, all over the world. We worked with the University of Ghent in Belgium on a couple of studies too. And a lot of the reasons we do this is because these academic institutions have a lot of expertise, particularly in running clinical studies. And also by having them do the studies rather than us, we feel that the customers will trust that more so because it's being done by a third party that's not a commercial entity. And so they don't have a economic interest in whether the study succeeds or fails. But we always find universities that are upstanding and willing to work with us, and we've just had tremendous success over the years. So these are a couple of studies that were published just recently. I think these were published last year or early 2019. And these were actually, this was a new partnership that we have. We actually started partnering with Peking University, which is the top medical university. It's like the Harvard of China. We were actually approached by their scientific teams over there because they were very interested in our products and asked if we wanted to do some collaborative studies with them. Of course, we said, yeah, that would be great. You know, we'd love to do some studies in your country. So these two were published recently. These have to do with the Nutrimeal products, where Nutrimeal is something that's fairly new in Asia and China, because meal replacements aren't really like they're not a big thing, and they're up and coming, but they aren't really they don't use them as widely as we do. But they're very interested because they're looking at ways of improving people's health. And what they found was that the Nutrimeal, replacing Nutrimeal for one meal a day in people's diets, greatly improved their health parameters. So on parameters of body weight, BMR, blood pressure, a lot of different measures, they saw dramatic improvement in people. This actually got the attention of their government, who is actually wanting to work with us on developing healthier foods for people in China. So this will lead to more products in the future. Another study that we did recently, this was Journal of Functional Foods. We showed that the multivitamin, multimineral, the Cell Essentials, increased circulating levels of vitamins and minerals. And see, this is something that a lot of companies don't do. They just assume that if they're throwing a vitamin mineral product together, then it must work. But nobody really tests, nobody except for us. But we want to make sure that the ingredients that we're using, because we know it works in the laboratory, but we want to make sure that that translates to benefits for people too, realistic benefits. And so we do studies like this occasionally to make sure that, and these are published in peer-reviewed journals, third party. So this is the Journal of Functional Foods. It's a major food journal. And so they have to peer review it, approve it, goes through the editorial process, and then the paper is published. But this is all just accumulation of evidence of how great USANA's products are. This was a study just recently published in Nutritional Neuroscience, which is a major neurological journal. And this was our product, like I was telling you, is the Copa Prime. And what we found is just in one dose, in just one single dose, we saw dramatic effects on memory. We saw task-associated activities. And then also we did brain scans during the time when people were using this product. And we found that what happened is, even though their brains were working, and processing information extremely well, their brains were running cooler. So what it shows is it was actually allowed them to help focus better. So it's not just drinking caffeine and just having your brain all energized and jittery. This is very targeted nutraceuticals that actually enhance brain function. So this is very exciting, because this is something that, the population around the world in most countries is aging, and there's a huge demand for effective and safe nootropic products. And USANA has just developed one of the best ones that's out there right now. And it's very cost effective too, so it's a great product. Here's some other studies that are submitted for publication. We released a essential oil balm last year. And, when I asked Dr. Wentz, what his thoughts were on aromatherapy and essential oils, he said, well, we use them down at Sonovive quite a bit. He said, but if you're going to launch one, it has to be scientifically proven. So we worked with the Brain Institute at the University of Utah Medical School, and we showed that our product triggers positive effect in mood, reduction in mood disturbances, reduction in heart rate, and also a reduction in blood pressure. So it was really truly calming people down. So we ran this against a placebo. This is a placebo-controlled study. This one is in publication right now, and that publication will be coming out probably any time now, and we'll be announcing that. Another product that we did on the Cell Essentials, we surveyed Cell Essential users and then compared them to what's called the NHANES data, which is a national health survey data. The United States does this, Europe does this, a lot of countries do that. And we showed that people that were using our product were significantly healthier than people that are just in the ordinary US population. And we attribute that to their use of Cell Essentials. Celavive, we have skincare, high-end, nice, very nice skincare. But again, we're the kind of company that we want to test everything. So we put these through human clinical studies too, with a company called Stevens and Associates, and they deal with all the high-end cosmetic companies. And we were able to quantify the beneficial effects of our skincare. So it's not just us saying, hey, this will make you beautiful. We can quantify exactly the hydration, the fine lines and wrinkles. All that stuff is very highly quantified for our products. And again, this is something that Dr. Wentz insists upon. These are some of the global agencies that we deal with every single day. Regulatory affairs is also under my jurisdiction as Chief Scientific Officer. And so these are basically the Food and Drug Administrations of all the country. Well, not all of them. They're not all here on the list. We deal with 24 countries and there's only 20 up here. But I'll tell you, back in the day when I was first getting into the supplement industry, it was a US-based company, and the FDA was the big giant that we had to deal with. They were tough, and we had to make sure we met all their qualifications and everything like that. Well, the FDA is no longer the toughest in the world. I'll tell you right now, the two toughest in the world are Australia, the Therapeutic Goods Administration, and Health Canada, which is also very tough. And they are applying standards that are more applicable for pharmaceuticals than food products like in the United States. So now whenever we build our products, we build them to Australian and Canadian standards rather than US standards, because if you build them to Australian and Canadian standards, they'll be good pretty much all over the entire world. Whereas if you built them only to US standards, that's why there's a lot of companies in the United States that are only in the United States, because the US is pretty easy to get products registered and sold here in the United States. But a lot of these other countries are very difficult. China's amazingly difficult, which I wouldn't have expected at the beginning, but they've modeled themselves a lot after Australia. And so a lot of their regulations are very tough. So anyway, but we deal with these guys every single day. We've got great relationships. We've never had a bit of trouble with any of these agencies. Australia comes and inspects us. They were inspecting us every year to get our TGA certificate. But we've done so well over the past 10 years with them that they've now moved our inspections out to either once every 2 years or once every 3 years. So we built a great relationship with them where they know we're the good guys. And they've actually they don't insist on sending somebody every single year. Our facilities are, of course, registered with the FDA. All of our facilities are. So every product that we make, everything that's produced here it's registered. We've had this registration in place now for almost 30 years. We've never had any issues with the Food and Drug Administration. We've always been in good standing with them. Like I said, Australia is stricter, and they actually require on-site audits of our facilities, manufacturing, things like that. And we've never had any issues with them at all. We've always gotten flying colors when we go for a certificate, to the point now where they don't insist on seeing it every year. They'll trust us and come here every other year. We also adhere to third-party standards that we feel are very important, like USP, the US Pharmacopoeia, has standards that are above and beyond what the government requires. And we adhere to those just because it distinguishes us from everybody else. There's a lot of companies out there that are not compliant with USP. So we're audited every year by USP. They come through, they not only audit our manufacturing, they audit the bookkeeping, they audit the SOPs, the manufacturing records, everything like that. And we've always passed with flying colors. A lot of our products that we produce now, since we're producing for global marketplace, are also kosher and halal certificates. So this again is another level of cleanliness, purity that a lot of companies don't adhere to, but considering we're selling all over the world, including into Jewish community, into Muslim community, we make sure that we have kosher and halal versions of the products available. Another one, NSF International, is a very high standard to be met. It's not required by any country. It's not required by law, but we make sure that we get our NSF certification because it distinguishes us from the rest of the pack. So these are just some of the certifications that we have with the NSF. We also have even more certifications. We're one of the few companies in the world that has NSF certified for sports. And this is why we have so many Olympic athletes. We have over 2,500 Olympic athletes that use USANA products on a daily basis. And the reason they choose us is because they know our products are tested to make sure that there's no ingredients in there that will cause them to lose, to be disqualified, testing positive for any sort of banned substance. So they've come to trust us. Informed Choice is another organization that we use. I think they're based out of the UK. And again, this is another reason, but when we have the best athletes in the world using our products, we want to make sure that what we're giving them is beyond reproach. So again, this is why so many professional athletes, like I said, I believe we have 2,500 Olympic athletes around the world that use our products on a daily basis. We also have a lot of professional sports teams from throughout the world, baseball teams, soccer teams, all sorts of things. We were approached a few years back by the National Sports Training Center, the facility that trains Olympic athletes in China. And they were impressed by how many Olympic teams were using our product, and they actually approached us and said, can you produce products for us as well? And so at their request, we actually produce supplements now for a lot of, well, for the entire Chinese Olympic team. So there's, these are just some of the things. This makes me really proud because the science, hardly anybody sees the science that I do on a daily basis, but the fact that our products are strong enough and trusted enough that we have all these elite athletes using them, I think is just a fantastic endorsement of what it is that we do. So one thing that USANA is doing is we're establishing a new paradigm for health. We want to share, excuse me, we want to share health all over the world with not only elite athletes, but with everybody around the world. And so we have this concept called true health. And true health, you know, if you think about it, it's like what is wellness? What really is wellness? And wellness shouldn't be just the absence of disease. Okay, so you're not sick, so you're well. But it's more complex than that, because if you think at a biochemical level, you know, you may seem well, but is everything really well with you? Is everything really operating? Just because you don't see any symptoms doesn't mean everything's operating well. So we've adopted this definition of true health as having every cell and every system, organ system in your body working optimally at its full potential. So that's why Olympic athletes trust us, is they're pushing their bodies every single day to the limit, to the absolute maximum limit of the human body. But there's no reason why we shouldn't have the same nutrition, so that we know, even though we're not Olympic athletes, that our body, every cell, every organ in our body is operating optimally, so that we can have the maximum health span and maximum lifespan that we're entitled to. Okay, so I'm going to share with you a little bit of a story. This is a personal story. This is this is from my previous life. Okay, so you know, I've been in the industry for a long time. I was actually CEO, Chief Science Officer, and CEO of another major nutrition company for about 10 years. And so this was me back in my previous life, doing great. I love being a CEO to a certain point. I mean, it was very stressful, and I just prefer focusing on the science now. But back in the days, I was traveling the world. I was going to all these conferences, meeting people, and having fun, but working very hard too, to the point where I was getting sick a lot. I would travel the world and come back and end up in the hospital for 2 weeks just from exhaustion, from having worn myself out, probably not eating the right, even though I was in the nutrition industry and I'd always been healthy and athletic my whole career, this job was so imposing on me. It was so demanding of my time that I pretty much stopped exercising. I was eating probably way the wrong things, because I was eating dinner out every single night, traveling around. And so what happened to me was I woke up. Now that's not an actual picture of me, but I looked pretty similar at the time. But all of a sudden I woke up and I realized I wasn't healthy anymore. This lifestyle had drained me, and I was actually pretty unhealthy. And that's not good, because I had 3 young boys at the time, who were very young. And, I could see myself that if I kept continuing down that path that I was on, I was away from them a lot of time, but then also I wasn't going to live very long. I could see my health was already declining. When I ended up in the hospital a few times, I'd walk around the hospital ward while waiting to recover. And I'd look around and I saw a lot of middle-aged men like me that were in these hospital wards, that were just literally, they were just broken down because they hadn't taken good care of themselves. And I thought, well, I'm not going to let that happen. So I quit my job, took a year off and got my health back and moved to Utah. Dave Wentz, a good friend of mine that I'd known for a long time, had been asking me to come and join USANA for a long time. And I said, Dave, I'd love to. I love USANA. I'll definitely come up and join you. But I need to get my health back. And so I spent a year just at the gym, working out, cycling, mountain biking, to get my health back, because I had lost it. And all the wealth in the world, I was doing very well financially, but the thing is, what good is that if you're going to die at 60 years old? And I really didn't want to die at 60 years old. So I got my health back and then came and joined USANA, and the rest of the story is just fantastic. It's, my first day at USANA, I was literally on stage at the big convention in Salt Lake City, introducing Cell Essentials with Dr. Wentz. So that was literally my first day on the job. I hadn't even been through orientation here at USANA, but I was out introducing the new products. That weekend, after the convention was over, I was out in New York City with Dr. Oz on the Dr. Oz show. So Dr. Wentz and I and Dr. Oz flew out on a private jet and did the Dr. Oz show. So it's just been an amazing journey. I don't regret one bit, taking a year off and quitting and rejoining on my own terms. So this is just the health story I want to share with you is, sometimes you just got to walk away from bad habits and start something new. So this is a shot that I did on my 55th birthday last year, where I did my first bodybuilding shoot when I was 55 years old. I've always wanted to do that, but I never did it. And this was at the USANA gym. USANA's got a fantastic gym here right on our campus. And so, I went up there. I was up there every single day working out, and it's just been tremendous. This was last year in Macau. So whenever I travel now, I still travel, not as much as I used to, but I still travel quite a bit. But now whenever I do, the first thing I do every morning is get up and go to the gym and work out and put in an hour, at least an hour or an hour and a half of workout. So the story behind this picture is, it took 24 hours for us to get to Macau. So we had to take 3 different flights from Salt Lake City to Seattle, Korea, and then Hong Kong, and then we had to drive into Macau. So literally we were traveling for over 24 hours and I didn't get to my hotel room until 2 o'clock in the morning in Macau. But still, I was up at 6 o'clock that morning to make sure I worked out. And I've been very religious about that. You know, I make sure I work out every single day. It's a personal accountability thing, you know, where, you know, USANA products are fantastic and everybody should be taking them to improve their health. But also, you need to take personal accountability for it. And that's one thing I want to share as part of this presentation is there's a lot more than just products for USANA. It's a lifestyle that you really have to live. Okay, so this is my family now. We're out here in Utah. My boys are big men now, just grown up and fantastic. My wife is terrific. And two of the boys are off in college. One is still finishing high school and he just got his driver's license yesterday, so I'm very excited. But I'm telling you, life is worth living and you just gotta, you know, if you see things going the wrong way, sometimes you have to take a step back and find yourself again. So as part of your daily regimen, what would I recommend? Okay, so that was a question that was put to me when I was asked to do this presentation is where would you start like on a nutritional regimen? And you have to start with the essentials, with the cell essentials. Because these two products, the Vita Antioxidant and the core minerals, those two products by themselves give you almost everything that an ordinary person would need. So, and it's got all the major vitamins, trace nutrients, micronutrients, phytochemicals, cell signaling compounds, everything that's over the last 30 years of research and development in USANA, almost all the technology, all that 30 years of technology is in these two products right here in the cell essentials. So you have to start with that one first, okay? You really, if somebody really wants to be healthy, optimally healthy, have their organs and their cells working properly, they need to be on the cell essentials as the basic. So they provide vitamins, minerals, antioxidants. So USANA has been through several generations of essential products. So, you know, they were called the essentials for a long time. And then we put in what are called cell signaling compounds, which I'll go into that a little bit later, but they're patented compounds. And now we've got this newest this is the latest generation of health technology called the cell essentials. One of the things that makes the core minerals very important and different from things that are on the market is all of the mineral sources that are in there have been proven and they were sourced specifically for maximum bioavailability. So when you take these core minerals, you are actually, you look at the label and there's such amount of calcium, such amount of zinc, and a lot of vitamins, you read that on the label, but your body's not getting that because it's not absorbing them. But we know for a fact, because we've done a lot of research on this, that the ingredients that we're sourcing, they're very expensive, but they're worth every penny in the core minerals are being absorbed by your body. So some of the benefits that you get from this, well, the core minerals, minerals are required for everything in your body, for your metabolism, for your immune system, your nervous system. Obviously, your bones and joints are made up of calcium, magnesium, and protein. Your skin and nails. Oh, this is interesting. This is something that people ask me, you know, what should I expect when I start taking the cell essentials? What am I going to feel? What's the difference that I'll notice first? Okay, and this is really cool because I've been doing this for years now. And there's three things that you'll notice right away. You know, if you've never taken vitamins, minerals before, and all of a sudden you start onto the cell essentials, you're going to notice three things pretty quickly within a week or two. Number one is you're going to sleep better, okay? Because a lot of sleep disturbances and things like that are caused because your body is just not operating optimally. And a lot of that is due to vitamin deficiencies or mineral deficiencies. The second thing you're going to notice is that you have more energy during the day. Okay, and that's from two reasons. That's not one is if you're sleeping better at night, you're going to have more energy during the day. But also these vitamins and minerals like zinc and magnesium help your body unlock energy. So if people are tired, in a lot of cases, it may mean they're deficient in vitamins and minerals, and they're just not, their metabolism is not optimized. So you'll feel better sleep, better energy during the day, but a really cool effect that you'll see is your hair and your fingernails are going to grow faster. And you're like, well, that's not really that important. That's a cosmetic thing. Well, what it's doing is it's a sign, because both of those things are protein synthesis going on in your body. So your hair and your nails are made up of protein, keratin. And so when you see your hair and your nails growing, it means that your body is producing protein optimally. So your immune system requires protein, your nerves to regenerate, wound healing. All of these things require protein synthesis. So it's kind of cool that you can actually observe it, and people will notice it. You know, I have to cut my nails almost every single day just because they grow so fast. And a lot of that is due to, you know, having this optimum nutrition. Anyway, that was a little aside for you. So anyway, so enough about the core minerals. It's got lots of great stuff in it. It's just fantastic. You have to take it. You have to take the core minerals. And then going along with the core minerals is the Cell Essentials, the Vita Antioxidant, which supplies you with vitamins and antioxidants. So all the vitamin A, B complex, C, D, E, vitamin K, plus a whole bunch of really great antioxidants are in there too, to help protect your cells and make sure that you're getting optimum metabolism. Some of the benefits are very similar to the ones in the core minerals. Immune system is very important these days. You know, our business is actually doing fantastic right now, because I think a lot of people are waking up to the benefits of nutrition. People that had maybe in the past not really paid that much attention to nutrition, or I even have some friends that are physicians that used to be very negative about vitamins and mineral supplements, saying, oh, people don't really need those, you know, blah, 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 it's just expensive. And now they're all coming back to me and saying, wow, have you seen all this data about how important vitamin D is for your immune system? Have you seen all this data about, you know, all these other compounds and how there's benefits for your immune system? And I said, yeah, I've been in the industry 30 years. I've known that. I've been trying to tell you for a long time. But now they're starting to become believers. And actually, I have a lot of friends that are physicians that are now prescribing supplements to their patients. So a couple of things that are in here is broad spectrum antioxidants. We have this compound called olivol, which is a really fascinating compound. It's extracted from olive fruit. And it's a very powerful antioxidant, anti-aging type of product. Poly-C is a form of vitamin C that's chelated with minerals that increases the absorption of the minerals and also increases the absorption of the vitamin C. Plus, we have the intelligence technology, which I'll get into in a minute. Intelligence technology, when I first got here to USANA, I'd never really heard of it before. I didn't know. You know, we did cell signaling. We've known about that in research for, 10, 15 years, but I'd never seen anybody applying it to human nutrition before until I came here to USANA. And I looked at all the research behind it. And there's actually some really cool science behind this. The cell signaling pathways in your body, for example, things that control your lifespan, the telomeres, things like that, are actually affected by these cell signaling compounds. So the USANA was just granted a patent by the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office this year. It was in April of this year. The composition is for methods and compositions for supporting endogenous systems related to lifespan, which is really cool. I mean, I don't know, you probably don't stay up all night reading patents. I do, but this one is actually a very interesting read because the benefits that you get from these cell signaling compounds, it's kind of hard to explain to a lay audience, but this is really a whole nother generation of nutritional technology, and USANA is right on the forefront of that. Okay, so the health pack. This is what I recommend to my parents, my children, my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, everybody, all my relatives are on health pack. And the reason is it combines the cell essentials, which they need on a daily basis, plus also contains MagnaCal, which is some supplemental magnesium and calcium, because that's something that a lot of people are deficient in. The health statistics show that many people are, because we don't eat a lot of plants anymore. You know, back in the day when we were farmer gatherers, hunter gatherers, we ate a whole lot more plant material than we did, and most of the calcium and magnesium that we get in our diet should be coming from plants. But since we're not eating that, you really need to supplement with that. And then also it's got the Cell Essentials Booster in there, which is a powerful antioxidant supplement that contains antioxidants and other phytochemicals that have been shown to increase antioxidant potential, but then also they're related to increased lifespan. Another product that I'm super proud of, that's a USANA product, is the BioMega. And there's quite a bit of fish oil out there on the market. I know that there's lots of choices, there's all different price points. So why would you choose BioMega? And again, it comes down to sourcing. USANA can choose whoever we want to source our fish oil from, but we source it from the cleanest sources to make sure that there's no mercury in there. That's one of the problems with inexpensive fish oil supplements, is a lot of cases they're contaminated with heavy metals, things like mercury or other compounds that you don't want. Ours are all tested. We source the same thing that pharmaceutical companies use in a lot of their products. And this is a great product. The benefits from BioMega are just fantastic. A lot of people use it for cardiovascular health. And that's true. It really has a big effect on, cholesterol, LDL levels, HDL levels, things like that. But it's got a lot more benefits than just that. For example, neuronal function, neuronal development, particularly in children. These omega-3s are very important during the development phase of their brain. Joint flexibility, eye health. Okay, so you wouldn't think fish oil has anything to do with your eyes, but it does, because omega-3s, the retina of your eye is very rich in omega-3s and antioxidants, and in order for it to function properly. So a lot of people that develop degeneration of the retinas, things like that, in a lot of cases that's vitamin, mineral, nutrient deficiencies. Some of it's genetic, but in a lot of cases it can be either slowed or stopped. So the oil that we source is double distilled to make it free of contaminants. It's standardized to a certain proportion of EPA and DHA, because you need a balance of both of those. DHA by itself doesn't work very well. EPA by itself doesn't work very well. But the balance, the ratio of EPA to DHA is very important. We put vitamin D in there as a synergist with the EPA and DHA. And so it's a very high quality product. So if you're looking for a fish oil supplement for your health, then that's a tremendous product to choose. This is another one that's a favorite. This was developed at USANA quite a few years ago and has been the subject of numerous clinical studies. And this is the Proflavanol C100. And it's a combination of vitamin C, high potency vitamin C, and also a specific grapeseed extract that contains what are called proanthocyanidins. And that's a big name for these. I could draw the molecule for you, but it wouldn't mean anything to you. But it's these compounds that come from grapes and fruits that are powerful, really powerful antioxidants. Like some of the most powerful antioxidants in the entire world are these flavanol compounds. They have to be processed in a certain way because these flavanols can be quite long. They become polymers. And if they're like that, they won't be absorbed into your body. So we use a certain chain length of polymer that is proven to be absorbed into the human body. Again, this is the science that we apply that makes us different. So one of the things that this does is the combination of those two compounds, the proflavanol plus the vitamin C, helps really, it's a unique combination of antioxidants they synergize with each other. So actually the vitamin C by itself doesn't work as well as when it's synergized with the proanthocyanidins. Again, this is major for immune system function, for healthy bones, connective tissue. It's great for your skin. Just it helps with synthesis of collagen. So, people that you see that have kind of old, wrinkly looking skin, some of that's sun damage, but a lot of it is due to the fact that as you get older, your collagen production is suppressed. And this can really help support healthy collagen production and healthy skin. Like I said, they're synergistic with each other. They complement each other. It's been proven to raise vitamin C levels. There's also been some clinical studies on this that show it has an effect on blood flow within the body. So it's very good for cardiovascular health as well. This is another compound or another product that I'm super proud of. Wish I invented it. I didn't, but I'll take credit for it anyway. But no, this one is fantastic. Hepicil, DTX, and it's botanicals and nutrients that support a healthy liver function. Okay, and liver function, you might, people take that for granted until something goes wrong. But, you're under stress all the time. Your liver is under stress from things like the foods that you eat, foods that may have pesticide residue in them, or they may have phytotoxins in them like aflatoxin or things like that are very terrible for your liver, or drinking too much alcohol or things like that, just not taking care, eating fatty foods. So Hepicil is made to really support your liver function and make sure that your liver remains healthy, because a lot of people don't realize that their liver is not functioning until they end up with a very bad test, blood tests, and then they have to do drastic things to try and reverse the damage to the liver. It's better on a daily basis to take a supplement that helps support liver health. All right. Okay, another great product, USANA product that makes us different is the Procosa. And this one is for joint health. And again, like, the population of the world, a lot of countries, a lot of developed countries, Europe is like this, United States is like this, Japan is certainly like this, where there's a higher proportion of elderly people. And, as you get older, your joints naturally, if you don't do the right things or you're just eating the wrong foods, your joints tend to start breaking down and falling apart and becoming painful. And sometimes it can end up having, where mobility becomes an issue. So we developed this Procosa. It's a blend of glucosamine, and glucosamine helps rebuild the cartilage in joint tissue and the rest of your body. And then we put synergistic compounds in there like curcumin, to help reduce inflammation around the joints, and then put other synergists like vitamin C and magnesium to work in synergy with these other compounds. So this is a great product, supports healthy joints. It's a 1,500 milligram dose. And it's a vegetarian formula, which is that's a great form of glucosamine. It's more expensive to do it that way. A lot of glucosamine that you buy on the market is actually a byproduct of crab shells. So when they harvest crabs and collect the meat and they throw away the shells, you can process those shells and actually get glucosamine out of them. And a lot of companies actually do that. But we actually get ours from a botanical source, a plant source. So it's rather than ours being, ours is vegetarian, so it's suitable for vegetarians. Excuse me. Too much talking today. Okay, the USANA probiotic is fantastic. This is something that, again, I've got all my family on this one. My sons that are in college, I ship this to them all the time. Because college kids aren't known for like their healthy eating habits and their choices. And sometimes they end up with, belly trouble and stuff like that. But if they take this USANA probiotic on a daily basis, which they don't mind doing because it's really simple, it's just a slim stick that you just rip open and you just throw it back. It takes about 5 seconds to take that every day. And it basically gives you 12 billion count of these 2 strains of healthy bacteria. And the reason we chose these particular strains and licensed them, so there's one called LGG and there's another one called BB12, is because these are clinically proven strains. There's a lot of probiotics out there that use all sorts of weird strains, and you know they use, and Europe is very strict on this. Europe is doing the right thing by being very strict on not allowing people to call everything a probiotic. Okay, so this product is actually, you know, clinically proven. You know, the ingredients are proven, and then we've taken it through additional clinical studies as well. It works really simply. What it does is it promotes the growth of beneficial bacteria in your gut. So basically, it's kind of like a lawn, like somebody's lawn. You know, if you put good grass seed down on the lawn, you're going to have a beautiful, you know, beautiful green lawn. But if you throw just junk and weed seeds down on it, you're going to have just this really ugly looking lawn. So this is what, you know, if you take this every single day, it's kind of like reseeding the lawn that's inside your body every single day. So you're always going to have a healthy GI tract. We also have some products that are newly launched. This one has just been launched in Europe, I believe, and it's the Proflavanol C200, which is fantastic because it's a higher potency form of the Proflavanol. So this is something that's very popular. This one, we've actually had trouble keeping this product in stock through this last year because there's such high demand for this, because these products are very in demand by people that know how to use nutrition to increase your immune system function. So things like the Proflavanol C200, the vitamin D, the multivitamins, those kind of things, probiotic, are in just huge demand right now. And honestly, we've had some issues just trying to keep them in stock, but we're doing a really good job of doing it. So the teams here have been working overtime, making sure that we get the ingredients, making sure we can get the packaging, the bottles, all that stuff, so that we can keep providing our customers with this during this very important time. So we call Proflavanol 200 a super pill. Okay, so we have several products that we call the super pills. And it's just because it's a very high potency formula. So literally this is I do the My Health Pack myself. So I have a custom health pack, and this product is in my health pack on a daily basis because I wouldn't live without this one. I definitely would not travel without this one. You know, this one has so many benefits. It's a fairly simple product, but like I said, the trick to it is really finding the right ingredients, the right polymer length of the anthocyanidins, you know, sourcing the vitamin C that's bioavailable, things like that. And so this one's newly available in Europe, and I'm excited about it. Helps support a healthy immune system during the winter and throughout the year. Another one that's in huge demand right now is vitamin D. This is fantastic. It's very simple, but the problem is that in a lot of places, particularly if people live in a northern climate where they don't have a lot of sun exposure during winter, if they're not eating a lot of fish and foods that are high in vitamin D, then there's a very strong chance of them being deficient. I saw a study from Canada a few years ago where they were talking about vitamin D deficiency in Canada, and it's really widespread. And Canada is a very very modern, industrious country, but it has to do with the fact that during the winter time, there's hardly any vitamin D synthesis going on in your body because there's no sun exposure. So this is something that's really simple to take care of. It's a very inexpensive product, and it's really easy to supplement and get as much vitamin D as your body needs. So it's got a lot of benefits: bones, heart, muscle function. It's just, I mean, vitamin D back in the day when I was studying biochemistry 30 years ago, they didn't even know all the things that vitamin D does. They knew it was important for bone function, but beyond that, they didn't realize how important it was for muscle function, how important it is for immune system function, all those things. That's all recent science. And so that's why Dr. Wentz feels very strong about vitamin D. I feel very strongly about vitamin D. And given the fact that most people are deficient in it, this is something that's almost, it's a no-brainer to take vitamin D every single day. So these tablets contain 1,000 IUs of vitamin D, which is fantastic. 2 of these a day gives you 2,000, which is generally what's recommended for normal, healthy people. You can take more if you want to, or if your doctor recommends that you should be taking more. You know, I've known doctors that have recommended more, and I know some that think that 2,000 IUs plenty. But anyway, just make sure that you're getting vitamin D every day. So those are the USANA differences. So it's the science, it's the ingredients that we choose for our products. It's the things that we do that we don't have to do. Like all these certifications, the GMP certifications, the NSF certifications. You know, we don't have to do that, but we choose to do it because that distinguishes us from the crowd. So thank you so much. Everybody just stay healthy. We're going to get through this. We definitely will. You know, there's light at the end of the tunnel. There's some vaccines that are coming along pretty soon that will protect, you know, people that are probably more sensitive. But anyway, just take care of your health and value your health. Particular favorite, although I did mention that I take the health pack, the My Health Pack, every single day. So that's an option that we have here in the United States. So I have my Health Pack custom made for me, and I never go a day without taking it, and I certainly never travel without it. So whenever I walk around, if I'm wearing a suit, ask me if I've got my health pack with me. I'll pull out my packet from my suit because I've always got it with me. And I just want to make, I don't take too much products. You know, I don't take handfuls of pills every day. There was a time in my life when I did, but USANA has such nice, potent products that you don't really have to take. You don't have to take too many products to be able to get the things that you need. So I would say the health pack is probably my favorite. The probiotic is fantastic. I would never live without the probiotic, and I would definitely never travel without it. It's come in handy a lot, particularly because I travel to Asia a lot, and the water there can be problematic. The food can be problematic, but I've never had an issue when I've been taking the probiotic with me. Okay, so I mentioned it earlier, but so my first week at USANA, I literally walked in the building. I didn't even go through orientation. I didn't know where my office was. I met with Dave Wentz, I met with Dr. Wentz, and they basically asked me to go on stage with them at the convention center. So that was the first week. And then later on that week, after the convention ended, I got a call from Dan Masuga. And he said, would you be available to go on the Dr. Oz show this weekend? And I said, I guess. And he said, yeah, Dr. Wentz is gonna go. So the plane is taking off Saturday morning. So their jet's taking off Saturday morning. So just, you know, go with them on the flight. So I got to spend a week with Dr. Wentz, with Prudence, with Dr. Oz, and be able to do the show. And we got to know each other really well and develop just a great relationship. And it's just been fantastic ever since then. There's a few areas that I find very interesting that I'll share with you. Nutritional science is always changing. We're always looking. So you know, there's always things that could surprise us and intrigue us. The one thing that I find very interesting right now is the microbiome. So we have a wonderful probiotic formula right now, but we're working actually on some other targeted probiotics, things that would be for women's health, for children, for infants, because I believe, and Dr. Wentz believes this too, that a lot of health issues that people have is due to imbalances in their GI tract, in their microbiome. It's very complicated science, but it's pretty easy to fix. And ways that you can fix it is by targeted probiotics, prebiotic fibers that induce the growth of the good bacteria in your body and suppress the growth of the bad bacteria in your body. I think there's tremendous health potential for improving people's health, plus also increasing lifespan through the targeted use of microbiome products. Another area that I think is very, very interesting is neuroscience. So using nutrition to increase brain performance, to slow down cognitive decline, things like that, because that's a big issue. That's a big health issue, and there's not a lot of good therapies or treatments for it once it occurs. But I believe very strongly that applying nutrition early on, you can push those problems way, way off into the future by taking care of your health. And so that's an area that we're actively involved in. Another area that I'm excited about is the blending together of Western medicine and nutritional science from the West with Eastern medicine. So some of the traditions, some of the techniques that are used in things like traditional Chinese medicine or the botanical medicine from India, things like that, native medicines that have been used successfully for centuries. There's a lot of science there that we're just starting to understand, and there's a lot of synergies between our Western medicine and Eastern medicine. And we're exploring those right now through collaborations, through some product development that we're doing, some research that we're doing, because I think there's a lot of product potential in that for the future, not only for Asia. I think it'll be very interesting to them, but I think it's something that, I think it would be very interesting to people all over the world who are looking at ways of preserving their health. Obviously, when you talk about what makes USANA different, because there's a lot of competition out there, the science and the quality. We don't produce. We're kind of like the Mercedes of nutritional supplements. We produce only the best. We insist on the products being proven by science, built to the highest standards, so people can trust these. We have millions of athletes around the world that are using our products. But one thing I would tell distributors is when you're talking to people about USANA, we're not just a product company, we're a lifestyle company. So being part of USANA is not just buying products from us, it's actually committing to a healthy lifestyle. So through the things that you eat, about committing to some level of fitness improvement in your life. You're going to see some things coming out from USANA over the next year or two that really take this USANA lifestyle and make it something that's very actionable. And I'm very excited about it. But those are the thing that excites me about USANA is just the solid foundation of science that this company is based on. There's a lot of companies out there that are just a bunch of marketing and hot air and a lot of talk without having the science behind it. And we're just the opposite. We've got very little marketing and such, except for our distributors, and it's all science. That's what we've founded. We are USANA.